Hello and welcome to The Telescope. Every week we bring you a fresh insight from the biggest car market in the world. Today we take a look at the saloon version of the Leapmotor B10 we showed you a while ago. It's called the B01, or should I call it just the B1? The B10, that SUV version, eventually landed at an incredible price point of 998,000 RMB. That's roughly 12,000 euros. And we are expecting this saloon version to be even cheaper than that, somewhere around 898,000 RMB or 10,800 euros. So keep this price point in mind when watching the rest of this video. This is at least in China, a 10,800 euro car. To hit that kind of price point, this saloon of course has to reuse as much stuff from the SUV brother as possible, understandably. But you can tell one of the negative effects is that this car at this position looks quite thick. If this is originally designed as a saloon, I'm pretty sure this would have been compressed down. Also, come around to the back, from the top of the rear wheel to the roof line, it's so thick that initially when I saw the spy picture of this, I was mistaken this for the coupe SUV version of the B10. But as you can see here, it's a saloon. So taking parts from the SUV brother has some negative effect, but if this car could really hit that 898,000, 10,800 euro price point, then I can totally live with that. Here on the inside, it's all the good stuff from B10, the SUV brother, but condensed into a saloon format. You have the same beautifully detailed air conditioning vents with ambient lighting built in, and the same steering wheel and soft touch leather everywhere. Only from about this line downwards are hard plastic, but remember, this is a 10,800 euro car. The materials, the fit and finish is, I would say, usual for Leapmotor, but quite incredible when you just look at this price point and look at other cars at this price point. This is an A+ interior for this price. Initially, I worried about this car's vertical cabin space at the rear. That's the killer point for any battery electric saloons, let alone for a car this cheap, this small. But they have made the clever compromise by making this glass roof smaller. So you can see the glass roof stops at here, and they dig out more space from the roof for my head. As you can see, I'm 5'11". Legroom is never going to be a problem for any Leapmotor product, but look at my headroom. And I'm sitting bolt upright. I take this compromise every day of the week instead of having a huge glass roof with no sun blinder and cramped vertical space. This is 100% the correct compromise for a budget small electric saloon like this. Other stuff at the rear, this car gets this ultra clever storage space for my tissue paper. I mean, why haven't other people thought about this? This is such a clever solution. But this car also doesn't have any kind of light. No lights here, no ambient lighting at the air conditioning fence like the front cabin. So when this car is parked at an underground car park, the rear cabin is total pitch black darkness. Actually, having thought about this, look at this area. If you have to choose between this grab handle and a light, which would you choose? I would personally choose a light over this grab handle, and also you can see it eats into the headroom. This is not exactly headroom, but it eats into the overall vertical space. If you have to choose between this and a light, which would you choose? Leave your comments down below. This car has a bigger than usual boot. Electric tailgate coming up. At least you get something back for this car reusing stuff from its SUV brother. Is that, look at this opening. When was the last time you see a saloon with a boot that's this tall and you get about 40 liters of underfloor storage? Standard boot space is about 460 liters. So overall combined, you're looking at a 500 liter boot. For a saloon of this size, I would say practicality, this is quite good. Another benefit this car has, being a saloon, is that it doesn't need a rear wiper. This rear screen cleans itself. And I want to talk about the benefits of buying a saloon, because we're expecting this car to have all the same motor and battery combination from its B10, the big brother, but it's projecting to have 50 kilometers additional range on top of the B10 600 kilometers range. So you're looking at 650 kilometers CLTC range. And you have to remember, CLTC's average speed over the entire test cycle is below 30 kph. So when both of these cars are cruising at 120 kph on the highway, it's not an exaggeration to say that this Saloon will have 80, maybe even 90 kilometers additional highway range from the same battery. So think long and hard on why you might need an SUV if you don't need all that vertical space. For the Saloon, you get a car that has more range, that is quieter and cheaper. Think about it. The rest of the car, the assisted driving and the brilliant Qualcomm 8295 infotainment is consistent with the B10 SUV, which means for this price point, class leading is an understatement. Other cars at this price point cannot compete with this car on the infotainment and the assisted driving. So all of this for 90,000 RMB, 10,800 euros. What do you think? Unlike its bigger brother, the B10, this car Leapmotor hasn't made decision on whether this car will come to Europe or not, because the general consensus is European market, especially at the budget end, prefer a hatchback over a Saloon. Do you agree with that? Do you want this if it's roughly 23,000 euros if this car comes to Europe at the entry spec? If you want this, leave your comments down below. That is all from the Telescope today. If you enjoyed this video, keep watching, keep subscribing. More videos coming along very soon.